The doghouse.
That is the player that is quite opposite to the dog of the week. The player that has needed to show up, hasn't been showing up, and therefore gets sent to the doghouse. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Well, I'd like a little bit of feedback from any viewers or listeners we may have. I would like to figure out whether the doghouse player should be automatically removed from the doghouse or whether that said player has to earn their way out of the doghouse by exceptional play or by another player playing so poorly as to take their place in the doghouse.
Well, we should do one for now. I'm going to say that the player stays in the doghouse until they play their way out. And playing their way out, like, which will mean someone else will be taking its spot. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
A prolonged period of somebody playing worse than the player who is currently occupying the doghouse.
Now, there is a caveat. I'm going to make a caveat on the fly. The doghouse is only allowed to be empty if a team is on a winning streak at least 5 games. 5 games or longer. If the team is on a win streak of 5 games or longer, the doghouse is allowed to be empty if no one is justified to be in it. But once that loss happens, the doghouse is now, the door is back open again.
And it's fair game.
Exactly.
The point is agreed.
All right.
It is ratified.
All right, Andy, who do we have for our...
So now this
who's
is where
in
it
the
gets
doghouse this week?
A little bit controversial because we talked before going on air here, and the obvious choice should come as no surprise to anybody. It's Elias Pettersson. He's been in the doghouse for a while now, not just with us, with fans in general, with the team, with management. It's an issue. Now, as you'll recall, just a few moments ago, I chose Elias Pettersson as my dog of the game versus the Maple Leafs.
Redemption.
Yes. But I also said prior to that game that I didn't think there was anything that Pettersson could do in that game to redeem what led up to it. That he's been so ineffectual and invisible and just a complete non-factor that even if he scored 5 and made somebody a Save on Foods millionaire, it wasn't going to change things, right? We got to see some multiple games of that kind of PD.
That's key. Inconsistency with Elias Pettersson has been the primary issue. Don't forget, several weeks ago when we played the Leafs last time, what were his teammates chanting to him as he was exiting the ice?
Was that the Selke chant?
That was the Selke chant, yes. Yeah, that was kind of like a one-hit wonder there. We need to see that a lot more frequently. If you're not going to score goals, you need to be like the greatest defensive forward of all time. I want to see like Bergeron out there. But that hasn't been the case. That's absolutely. The 0 shots for, 2 shots against is a sign that you're not keeping the puck in the offensive zone even.
Attempts. 0 shot attempts.
0 shot attempts. And I don't know how many against, but yeah, like I like PD when he's on, but how frequently that's been happening is a concern to me. This is not a new issue. This is something that's been going on for over a year now, over 365 days that he's been struggling. And when we see light, like we did when he played the Sharks in the end of December, scores 2 goals, goes away with an injury, comes back, is playing well, but just, again, can't produce. And the Canucks are losing games because of it. Need a bit more out of Elias Pettersson. But Like, build off tonight. Like, keep going. I'm holding out hope, but my patience is running extremely thin.
I think there's no other option here. I mean, I guess if you wanted to say outside of Elias Pettersson, if we want to do a dishonorable mention, I might nominate someone like Carson Soucy.
I think he's been good since the benching. I
I
have a
think he's been
guy.
better.
I
I think
have
he's
a
been better.
guy. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean, I don't know if you're thinking Juleson because he hasn't even been in lately.
No, I
You're talking
have
a
a
guy
guy.
who's played
I have a hot
consistently.
take. I have a hot
Okay.
take. It's Philip Hronik.
Oh, that's not a hot
I
take. That's a bad take. That's a bad
I
take.
I've been unimpressed with how frequently he is turning the puck over. When there's a chance for him to make a pass, it so rarely gets to the intended target. And that's been driving me crazy. It doesn't matter what zone he's in. It's especially in the defensive zone, trying to get it up to center ice. It's like he can't get it to the right guy. He'll ice the puck because he misses him by 5 feet or like whatever. That's been a primary issue, that as Philip Hronik needs to be the guy that can move the puck. Like, we need puck moving defensemen, and so many times he's not getting it to the right guy. He's missing by like 5-6 feet, so the player has to like go back and get it, or it's icing, or they get hit, or like he's not setting up guys well to get out of the zone. And I need to see more. I like love the goal he scores tonight. Love that he's ripping the puck, but the primary need we have on defense is to move the puck out of the zone. And I want to see more out of Philip Hronik, especially as a guy who's making over $7 million a year.
Now, I'm curious to know, because that is, I mean, you call it a hot take. I don't know. I'm curious to know if that is in the context of this last week
Yes, it
or
is.
or going further back, because I
It
think
is.
prior to this week, I would agree with you more. I think he had
Oh,
a string of
okay.
poor games that I think he's been trending in a good direction of late.
Okay. Interesting. I
Now,
had the flipped perspective. I had no
so that's
issue with this
fascinating.
game. And I think it's because Quinn Hughes sucks up so much of the oxygen that other players' mistakes, I don't see it as much. And like, I was like,
Oh,
okay, when he's on the second line too, you're not facing off against Matthews and McDavid and McKinnon. You're getting the second pairing matchups usually. Now he's Quinn Hughes. He's in Quinn Hughes' spot. Number one power play, number one, like, getting the most minutes, and I've been left wanting with his exits and his passes, like, just to be on, because like, as a defenseman, that's your primary goal, is to just move the puck accurately. And yeah, he doesn't have the skates, like the legs, to get out of the zone on his own like Quinn Hughes does. He needs to
no.
make the right first pass, and I need more. Like, if he made $4.5 million, sure. Carson Soucy, I don't really care because he's making so little. But Philip Hronik, when you're making, like, you're here to be the clear number 2 defenseman, and Marcus Pettersson looks better than you, probably. I want to see more out of Philip Hronik. Show me the $2 million difference that you bring over Marcus Pettersson.
Okay. Well, again, let's hear it in the comments. Was that a hot take or is that a trash take?
I'm not here just to preach to the choir.
No, you're not. Interesting. Yes, please weigh in on Philip